How much has that guy grown just over the last year?
Oh, it's been great to see him, because when I came in, you know, I think, you know, when you watch the cut-ups from the year before and you've seen Cash on film, you know, he just sort of had some spot play here and there. And to see him, he was one of the first guys I actually met in the weight room when I got here. And, you know, he had a big old smile on his face. Hey, glad you're here. You know, just like Cash is. Everybody knows Cash. And in the weight room, which you'd expect from Cash. But as a player, you saw him develop through spring, and then you really saw that leadership come out during the season. And when you talk about being a tough guy, you know, having one of those guys in your locker room, Cash is a tough guy. He'll play through, you know, any amount of pain, it doesn't matter. He wants to be out there for his guys. He'll do anything. It doesn't matter if he doesn't make a single tackle. If we won, right, and his teammates had great efforts, you know, he'll be in there studying film and seeing what he can do better. But he's not a dauber down guy in that. All he wants is W's. And those are the kinds of guys you want on your team and in your locker room, but you really, really need in the middle of your defense. I mean, probably no position more important to have those qualities than inside linebacker.
In the secondary, there was a lot of guys moving around. Is fluid a good word to describe how you are operating this spring?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good word for it. You know, we're just trying to see, you know, put guys in different spots, you know, move them around the secondary. You know, no job's been won, so we need to see them compete against, you know, sometimes with the ones, sometimes with the twos, you know, rotate in here and there, and see who's willing to compete. And it may be a day-by-day thing, a week-by-week thing, and we'll see. And hopefully, you know, we're a long way till that opener. So a lot of change. The beautiful thing is we walked in, we said, hey, listen, on our depth chart, everything's in pencil. There's no pen right now on our depth chart. So in that pencil, it's easy as just an erase here. So you may have been a 1 yesterday, boom, you could be a 2 today, or you could be up. And that's the competition, you know, will breed more competition, and it's going to continue to elevate their play. And we've seen guys do that. We've seen guys elevate. We've seen guys have bad days, and, you know, they realize, okay, it's hard to have a bad day because you're going to have somebody else breathing down your throat. So it's great competition out there right now, but fluid's probably the right word.
How's Eccles and observation, which is all we have going as far as, you know, just what we see. And looking at Jamari Brown, talk about it a little bit. Like you made it
so, today. You know, so Jamari's a guy, you know, that's got the physical talent. He needs to continue, you know, to play every down, understand what it's like to strain on every down. But he has shown flashes that you're like, okay, this guy's got what you're looking for in the corner. But again, Jamari's had some days where he's looked really good, and he's had some days where he hasn't. Now, I think more and more as he settles in, he's going to get better and better. You know, I think probably his best day is when we had that day when we said we didn't install anything, and so it was just sort of able to seep in. When you keep adding stuff, you know, there's going to be mistakes here and there, but that's going to happen with a young guy. But what we need him to do is continually to push and strain to be one of those guys that's in the mix. And again, we've got 3, 4, 5 guys that are all vying and in the mix out there on the edges. So,
how have Eccles and Mosley adapted from JUCO?
You know what, I think it's been a little bit easier transition for Brandon because corner's been his natural position. You know, Quandary played mainly safety, you know, and wide receiver out there. So, you know, jumping out to corner's been a little bit different, but he's making progress. But I think Brandon's, you know, clearly a step ahead in that regard because it's a position he knows. And I think Brandon's done a really good job of being able to step in and compete and show he's one of those guys that's clearly in the mix, you know, to be there when it's all said and done.
How would you evaluate Javonte as somebody had reps and is going to be more of a leader out there?
Probably the most comfortable one out there. You know, when you look at D-Rob, you see a guy that, you know, I say use security blanket, but of those guys in the secondary, between him and JG, they've got the experience, and those are the guys that the secondary looks to and wants to lean on. And we need D-Rob to be a big factor for us this year, and he's got to be, and he's got to do it for 12, 13, 14, hopefully 14 games, you know, come the fall. So he knows he's got to, you know, he's got to get himself conditioned. He's got to kind of be like what Mike was for us. You know, Mike last year, I think, probably didn't get enough credit for how much of an eraser he was. You know, everybody thinks about the plays Mike's made, but it was more the plays that he erased when he made really what could have been really big plays, and to just, okay, it was an 8-9 yard play, he got it to the ground and we could play again. And that's what we need D-Rob to do this year. He needs to be able to make those plays that, you know, erase big explosive plays.
It looks like he's put in a lot of work in the offseason, like, you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys have, but is he transformed his body a little bit?
Yeah, I think he looks great. He looks the part. I think everybody would sort of notice that. You know, he's always been fast, you know, one of the faster guys on the team. But now the weight, Sean, I think he's, I don't know the exact weight, but I guess he's over 2 now. You know, and to be able to run as fast as he does, that's kind of what we got from those guys last year when you had a D West and a Mike Edwards who were all 2+. You know, even Lonnie out there at corner was, you know, he weighed in at 210 for, you know, the combine. So that's what you need from those guys. It's a big boy league. You know, balls are going to come downhill, you know, ball carriers, and he's going to have to make tackles against, you know, some big backs. And he's the one thing that he shows, not only is he a willing tackler, but he's a very solid tackler. And I think with some added size and mass, you know, it's going to allow him to be durable and last for the whole season.
Okay, folks, thank you. We got